Alright guys, TechCorp here back again today. Hope you're enjoying your Thursday so far. Tomorrow, the Florida Mutineers home series event begins, but today I wanted to talk about another couple of things surrounding the whole Call of Duty scene. I wanted to talk about broken maps in this game right now. Obviously, we've talked about a lot of broken things over the course of the year. Spawns, this time it's map design, a pretty major issue, to be honest. You guys might have noticed sometimes if you're playing Azir Cave, you get wall banged through random walls you didn't even know should be possible, given it's like a 50-foot thick cave. But there are certain spots which you can shoot through like they are paper, and we're going to talk about that today because it does cause some issues really with competitive integrity, the way it's possible to die through walls in this game, also on Gunrunner as well, as we will get into. Also want to talk about Clayster potentially joining the Royal Ravens earlier this year. Not something that's going to happen now, but as Wiskin said on the trip cap, it was actually a possibility that could have been on the cards before this season began, and that would have made the season shape up very differently indeed. But like, if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. The Draft Buff League for this weekend is still ongoing. There's like 360 people in there right now. There's plenty more spaces available if you guys want to join, like this individual did, KEWE, not really sure how to pronounce that, but yeah, he got a pretty nice team of Skies, Maniac, Chino, Simp and Mack, to be honest, for the weekend. The salary is now 300, slightly increased off previous weeks, so yeah, if you guys want to play along, try and win some, well, XP and pride, I suppose, then yeah, feel free to do that. Wanted to confirm what we talked about yesterday with Chain being moved to the bench, Gizmo in the starting lineup on Singularity. Weird change given that most pros and most teams would say that these guys were probably the best team outside the league, but Chain moves to the bench. Their reasoning is kind of interesting here. So they benched Sam Chain Dinnerly from the team. Not an easy decision to make, but Call of Duty is a team game and there's been a lack of team chemistry on the server throughout the last month. We are only in mid-season right now. Given that, we have decided to try out young talent Joey Gizmo Evan. Interesting statement they come out and make here. Some people were talking about internet. To my knowledge from multiple sources, this was vibes apparently. Supposedly Chain was being a toxic asset of the team, and they've decided to get rid of him and bring in Gizmo, who Bids, Insight and Detain had played with back in the Infinite Warfare days before he turned 18 and had a lot of success with. I think before all of them were 18, but Gizmo now has just turned 18 again. So yeah, as Bid says here, welcome the young prospect Gizmo. The hunger he has will be what the Singularity army needs to continue to improve and not stay at the same level. So interesting kind of indictment of his former teammate, really, saying that, like, if we keep teaming with this guy, we're not going to improve. And, he's saying effectively Chain doesn't have the hunger to improve or whatever, right? So a little bit of subtweeting, I suppose, going on here. Pretty interesting. We'll have to see how this team turns out going forwards. Some people saying in the European scene this could make this team even better. And Gizmo apparently a really talented player, but hopefully Chain has done enough this season to prove that he does deserve a spot on a starting lineup next year in the Pro League if they do step up it to one level and bring in 16 teams or something to that effect. So moving on from this one then, we have the Call of Duty League confirming there will be a French stream this weekend. Would be cool to see something like this for the Spanish team as well, but given that the Paris Legion is the only team outside of the UK represented in the Call of Duty League, outside of America and Canada of course as well, but in the European region it's just France, with understandably why they're going down this route. But pretty cool to see. Maybe next season we get a Spanish team, we get a similar thing. But if you guys are French and you want to listen to a broadcast in French, it is now available. Unfortunately, no Kataga streaming this one. So let's talk about these maps being broken then. These couple of tweets come out from Nasty, but these are really in response to another couple of videos I will share on screen right now. One of them came from this past weekend. Not sure if it was this Chicago home series. I'm pretty sure it was actually, that Dallas ended up taking the victory against 2 weeks ago. But Illy shoots right through this wall you can see right here on screen against JCap. Doesn't even mean to get a kill, but gets one anyway. And I've seen a couple of instances of this happening now. And just to follow up from that clip, I then wanted to play Scump on Azir Cave. Watch closely as Scump kills Wiskin through a 50-foot cave.
One more top stone. You might kick,
Dylan dead cave.
Oh my god, top stone, Chain.
I'll see you back.
Another cave, dead.
There's two front of me on you.
Chain's front, Chain's front, Chain's front.
Hit it over. Oh.
I don't know how one's underpass.
Oh, yo, he's close right on you, Dylan. Nice.
So then there's these couple of clips from Nasty here, and this one, first of all, again on Gunrunner, that clip we saw from Illy, but what you don't get to see in that clip is like, okay, it's wallbangable one way, but as Nasty shows right here, it's wallbangable much more the other way, which is honestly pretty remarkable, and so broken, right? You can shoot one way through this wall and get about 50 hit markers, and the other way you don't get any hit markers at all. This is a pretty important situation as well, where someone might be over at crates, you're in showers, and this wallbang can be very, very useful indeed. The fact you got to do it both ways is kind of ridiculous, doesn't make any sense. But as you might have already guessed, the more interesting one is this one on Azir Cave, and I got to put this on full screen because the crazy thing about this, you saw that Scump just banged straight through this wall over towards that front P5 alleyway outskirts kind of area, banged straight through it and killed Wuskin with an MP5, and here Nasty is trying it with an M4, it doesn't work, pull out the MP5, kills the guy in 5 bullets across the map. I don't know what the hell is going on here, but supposedly shooting through this wall with an M4 or maybe any other gun, I don't know, doesn't work, but with an MP5 or with an SMG, or there's something about the MP5 and the rounds that just lets you barrel straight through this wall and basically do, no damage loss at all, which is just incredible. How is this even possible? I don't understand it, but there's multiple spots like this on this map. This is clearly a key one, but sometimes I will spawn over to Nasty's left, as you see it right now, back towards that P2 side, and you spawn over there, you get shot straight through that cliff, someone trying to shoot over towards the, balcony sandbags kind of area. That happens quite a lot to me when I come off spawn, not, quite a lot, but it's happened at least a few times that I've been playing the CDL playlist, get banged through a wall you don't even know you should be shot through, and sometimes it'll happen on this map to me. I'll be shooting at someone, and I'll get hit markers I shouldn't be getting. I'm like, oh yeah, I know, I just map someone through a 50-foot cave. How is this even possible? I don't know how this is still in the game. I haven't really seen anything like this before, but it seems pretty game-breaking, right? Like, that kill that Scump got just shouldn't be something that's happening. He's trying to rotate over, for example, through P5. Let's say, Wuskin gets a kill over there, wins a big gunfight. He's in a great position to, for example, push all the way through. Obviously, in that situation, I think it was already on the second hill. But let's say, for example, it was first hill, and Wuskin's trying to push through the right-hand side to get spawns for hill 2 on Azir Cave, and Scump or whoever has a gunfight in this exact position, manages to miss the kill on one of the lads, but kills Wuskin, who might be one shot or might not be, trying to flank through the other side, which is legitimately a gameplay situation which might cause could honestly decide a game at the end of the day if that rotation goes one way or another. It's not out of the question. So, pretty remarkable. Just thought I'd share this with you guys, just to show that some of the things that go on in Modern Warfare are beyond belief. The spawns are one thing, but these shoot through the maps are just incredible. As Nasty says, I'm crying, MP5 really is the god gun. But to move on from this, I wanted to finish the video off with about Clayster and the London Royal Ravens. Wanted to share this clip from the trip cap. The entire video will be linked in the description box below for you guys. But Wuskin says here about the team as they were forming it for this this season, talking about how, Matty and Dylan, that's Scraps and Dylan CoD, were always going to be on the team, but choosing the 4th and the 5th player was difficult indeed. Jerd was pretty much set in stone. They felt like they were going to have him, but the 5th player could well have been Clayster.
You and your brother, and then I think Dylan, was that 3. Was there any?
Yeah, there was always us 3. There was always me, Matty, and Dill. And then, funnily, no one knows this, but funnily enough, we was meant to be playing with Clay.
Really?
And, yeah. No one
I heard
knows
rumours. I did hear rumours. That was an interesting.
It was going to be him, and then Jerd, obviously, and then.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not going to say why he didn't, but if he's watching this, he's probably sat there smiling. And yeah, because that obviously that didn't happen. It fell through, and we ended up with Reese and Jerd. No, that's a bad thing, but yeah.
Now that's interesting to think about. It's pretty rare, to be honest, that we see a team where you've got Americans and British players on the same team, and obviously Jerd's Irish, but it's pretty rare. You've seen that back in the Advanced Warfare days. We had that a fair bit. Swanee, Jerd, playing with TP and co back in the day, but pretty rare to see, and strange that this would even be on the cards, right? I wonder at what point it was on the cards. I wonder who took it off the cards, I suppose. Was it Clayster getting a better offer from the Dallas Empire, or what's going on exactly? Because I saw this from Clayster a while ago. I saw it on Reddit even, and as Clayster was saying here a while ago, most teams and top players are allowed 200 to 400 a year. That's 200 to 400k a year. Some franchises lowball their players now between 125 to 200. Subs are mostly on minimums plus benefits. So one of the things that was definitely in consideration was the whole the contract situation and the salary cap for this year. I believe Karma or Crimsix said that they were planning to team together if the salary cap did not work in their favor. which sounds to me almost as if either Crimsix was potentially going to Surge, or Crimsix was always planned to go to Dallas, and Karma could have come to Surge instead, or could have come to Empire, but it didn't work out due to they wanted to absolutely rinse these organizations of all their money, which I don't blame them. So on that benefit, is it the case that Karma was maybe going to be in the team and what was happening, and then they brought Clayster in instead towards the end? That could have been a possibility. Of course, if you're Clayster, you're in a pretty interesting spot, right? You've just won the World Championship on United. You get the opportunity to team with the guys on London, who obviously are very, very solid players after this previous year. But I'm sure he had going through his head the fact that he had Sypien and Abizi on his team before and how beneficial that was to him having these two cracked out, incredibly talented players. Maybe he didn't see that to quite the same degree on the London squad. Like, okay, there's Dylan, but the rest of the guys are maybe more proven. Then you look at the Dallas Empire team, of course, and you see you've got Shotzi, Hook, and Illy on this squad, and you're like, okay, this is maybe more Clayster's territory. I think he just turned 28 today or something like that, so he's definitely at the part of his career when he's trying to develop these young up-and-comers. He did it to great effect with Sypien and Abizi last season, and he probably thought that given the opportunity to play with such talented guys and people that he can bring up in the same way as he kind of has with Sypien and Abizi, probably more likely to do so, and teaming with Crimsix, of course, where he had so much success in the past. So no doubt, in my opinion, it makes sense for Clayster to have teamed with this squad, but it's interesting that that was potentially on the table, and Wuskin talked about it as if it wasn't exactly completely out of the question, and it definitely could have happened at some point, but maybe the Dallas Empire offer came through, or he just decided that, look, London maybe isn't the right fit. And it's interesting because I saw Clayster talk on Reddit the other day, and we'll talk about my predictions for this Florida Mutineers home series event tomorrow, but he was saying that he just doesn't feel like London has that clutch factor, and until they prove to him that they can in fact win an event, he doesn't believe it's going to be the case. And that's an interesting one, right? Because some people predicting London as a dark horse upset team for this weekend, I would like to do so, but I do kind of think in the same vein as Clayster, right? Until these guys prove that they can win events, the only player on this team that is, well, still a starting player that has won an event is Jerd, of course. Dylan hasn't done it. Wuskin and Scrubs have had decent success, but they've never quite got over the mark, right? And even if this team does make it to bracket play, which is possible, their group isn't outrageous. They have OpTic Gaming Los Angeles, Paris Legion, and unfortunately Atlanta FaZe. But if they win their first matchup, I think they play Paris first, maybe. I'm not exactly sure how it goes. Maybe they play Atlanta first, but then they have the possibility to go through Paris and OpTic in the losers bracket, for example. But whatever way it ends up working out for London, if it does, if they do then make it through to bracket play, it's still a tough road, right? You're going to be playing some very competent teams, probably playing either Subliners, a Florida Mutineers, or a Minnesota from the first group, something like that. You're going to be playing up against round one. If they get through that, do they have the clutch factor? I'm just not sure I see it. They've lost a lot of really close games so far this season, and as much as I like him and respect him as players, I'm not sure they have quite what it takes yet to win a big event. Yes, it's online. Maybe that will improve situations, and you could definitely argue this isn't a big event. Only 8 teams. It's played online. There's no Chicago or Dallas this week, so maybe it is their time. But you know, clearly Clayster is laughing to himself, thinking what could have been on the London team, which hasn't really had too much success. Pretty middle of the table. Dallas Empire now the reigning LAN and online champions, winning the Los Angeles Guerrillas / OGLA event, now taking down the Chicago home series, and considered by most the team to beat right now, given how much they have improved, and also the online situation has obviously helped to some degree. We've talked about that a fair bit. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. As always, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Talk predictions tomorrow. I'll see you next time.